Hey everybody, welcome to another Green Dragon Gaming Club Battle Report. Without us, they never feel like winners. Without them, we couldn't look so good. This is another pretty boy Bat Rep, and sorry YouTube, it's been a while. A lot of things going on. I won't bore you with the details, but now I have a lot of content I'd like to share with you. The first being Buckeye Battles. This was an awesome event. I've never been there before. For those of you who don't know, this is like the Super Bowl of the 9th age. There were over 100 people there, and it's the biggest event in the country. It's a lot of fun, really well run. My first time ever been to Ohio, actually, so nice 7.5-hour trip out to the Midwest, and I was so excited. I even got my buddy Mark, Sir MC, the leader of the Green Dragons gaming group, to come with me early so we could go participate in the doubles event, which was on Friday. So our team name was Armor Piercing. So this is the first of the content that I'm going to try to release out to you guys, because I have the 5 individual games from the GT, and then I have a casual game that I just got afterwards. So I've decided to condense the doubles games into one video here, and then I can dedicate a little more time to the individual games, and then we get this stuff out to you guys quick, and I'll actually still remember everything. So, team tournament, full disclosure, we were thinking about what armies to bring, and we were kind of lazy, and we're just like, well, we're bringing dwarves and dread elves. Let's just bring that since we're using it for the individual GT, and that's what we're comfortable with. We also got 0 practice games before this, so we were overconfident, even though we were going in cold, but we figured we'd get the job done. So these are the lists. We tried to go for a balanced list overall, but Mark would bring more of the beef, I'd bring more of the support. So, going over his list, I don't have it exactly, but I'll tell you what everything does. So, he's got a Thane with some BS runes. I gotta tell you, all the runes from Dwarves sound exactly the same to me. It's like Rune of Smashing, Rune of Penetration, Rune of Bend You Over. Like, it all sounds the same. It's all horrible. They're all so good. So, I'm just gonna tell you, basically the Thane has a 1-up armor save. And he has shield wall, so he's getting a 5-up ward if you charge him, 6-up ward I think after that, something along those lines. He's T5, he's got 3 wounds, so he's durable. He has lightning reflexes, so he's got +1 to hit, and if you're toughness 5 or higher, he's strength 10. So he's durable, he's really good against monsters or high toughness characters, so I like his build. And then he's got a Runic Smith with some more BS runes. Basically, he's got like a 2-up armor save, 2-up or 3-up, and shield wall as well. And then he took 3 spells. The 3 runes are he can give himself rerolls to hit in combat, -1 to hit against his guys, or -1 to wound against his guys. So very nice spells there. Then he's got 25 warriors with spears and shields, full command in the war standard. And then, of course, he takes his Deep Watch. I'm very thankful they're on my side for once. 15 of them, full command. And he gave him the Gleaming Icon because we're not aligned. He has a good army, I have an evil army. We cannot use each other's generals for a BSB reroll. So he wanted to make sure that this unit at least had it one time. Then he's got a Vengeance Seeker and an Organ Gun that's rune crafted, because why wouldn't you take an organ gun with you? And then for my list, pretty boy elves here, got a Dread Prince. I went character heavy. He took the Headsman's Axe, Bronze Breastplate, Lucky Charm. So I figured this guy's a beat stick. He's strength 7. He's rolling 1s to wound because he's a Dread Elf. He's fighting at initiative 8. And for every wound he does, he's doing 2 wounds. This guy can kill most things, and I really just need him to be able to do it in 2 rounds of combat, because he's likely hitting first. He'll do a wound or two. If that's not enough to kill whatever he's fighting, then the bronze breastplate with the lucky charm gives him a 1-up re-rollable one time, which should get him to survive the first round of combat and then finish off whatever he's fighting in the second round. Plus he's leadership 10, which is nice. And then I took an assassin. I really was getting some different perspectives of the Dread Elf book. I was kind of like, as I was trying to make a list for this, and I love this build. I really want to incorporate it into future lists. I end up calling him Liam Neeson because I just imagine this guy running around just murdering everybody as he's trying to like save his daughter or whatever. Plus he's a badass, so that's what I went with. I took Path of Silent Death, so he's got like the shooting attack combo with the poison, Knob, paired weapons, Wolfsbane being the poison, and Cloak of Midnight. So basically, this guy's move 6, so he can march 12, and he scouts. He has throwing weapons, so he's quick to fire, and he effectively has a range 24 inches with his march move, because he can move and shoot. Ballistic skill 7 with poison, and he has 3 shots with it. Strength 4 armor piercing. He gets to reroll to wound because of the poison, and then he has lethal strike. That's with just his shooting attacks. So it's a nice balance. You can take down monsters or lone characters that have good armor. And then that's not all. Once you get into combat with him, he's got 4 attacks at initiative 10 with paired weapons. He's weapon skill 7 with lightning reflexes and poison, and hatred because of Knob. And then he's strength 4 armor piercing, rerolling to wound with lethal strike, and because he has the Cloak of Midnight, he gets D3 wounds per wound in the first round of combat. This guy is such a dick. And then, because he has the Cloak of Midnight, he has a 3-up ward save against shooting and ranged from magic missiles and such. I was so excited to play with him. And then I just took a unit of 12 Corsairs with handbows, paired weapons, full command, and standard of discipline. They're going to be a delivery system for the general, plus they're a scoring unit. They can clear out chaff, stuff like that. And standard of discipline so they don't panic, since my general's going to be staying with them. A unit of 10 repeater auxiliaries, another scoring unit that can shoot, a hunting chariot, because I actually like this model, I just don't get a chance to play with it, and it adds a little more punch to our range. And then 5 Dark Acolytes. They are Yema, so they're movement 10 with Strider. And they have the champion upgrade, so they're effectively my wizard. And they get the Toxic Breath weapon from Occultism, and then they get the 2d6 Strength 5 Magic Missile, or it could be Strength 6. So, I like their spells. Alright, getting into the first game. So, we are playing Chris Mintz, and his team is called the Amigos. So it's Chris Mintz, and I believe it is his fiance's brother that he's teamed up with, and his name is Kiki. And he's a young fella. Chris said that he's interested in the game, so this was a great way to kind of introduce him to the game. It was funny though, because Chris only lives about 45 minutes away from us, so we do play games with him from time to time, and he's a great guy, so... But it was just funny because we drove 7.5 hours to basically play a guy that lives 45 minutes away. Oh well. Chris is a joy to play with, so I was looking forward to this nonetheless. And they went with the Nexus of Evil, basically. They went with Warriors of the Dark Gods and Vampires, with Chris playing Vampires and him making a Warriors list that Kiki could use. So this is what the board looks like. I'll go over deployment and what their list is essentially. But I gotta say this at the beginning. Full disclosure. So Chris was teaching Kiki how to play kind of as we were going along, which was fine. I think it's great that we have a new person maybe who's going to get into the game. Unfortunately, Kiki is not from the United States. His primary language is Spanish. His English, I think, is fairly limited. So Chris was speaking basically half and half Spanish and English, trying to talk him through things. And we kind of lost track of the time. I'm not usually a stickler for these type of things, but even I was like, uh-oh, guys, It's turn 2, and we only have 45 minutes left in the round. We got to get going. So it was unfortunate, but both sides had to rush to fit 4 turns in. So we didn't even get a full game in, but that's okay. It was still a lot of fun, and we're going to go through this. On their side of the board, there's a unit of Fallen. Behind them is a unit of Wraiths. Then he's got Warriors marked with Lust. 2 sets of Great Bats for Chaff. A big block of Skellies in the middle with his Vampire in it. But the Vampire is really not scary. He's not like a combat monster or anything. He's there for magic and leadership, and I think just to help the Skellies grind a little bit better. Then there's a big old unit of 5 Crushers marked with Wrath, which are just terrifying. And then all the way behind the building, he's got a unit of 3 Reapers, and they have Halberds. So we kind of went 1v1 for the most part, and I believe this first scenario was hold the center, and I put the hunting chariot. I know it looks like a raptor chariot. It's a hunting chariot. All the way on the left to protect the flank. Organ gun right there. Corsairs next to it with my general in it. Repeaters, and then spears dead center between the hills. The Vengeance Seeker. The Deep Watch with, I believe, both the Runic Smith and the Thane in there. And then the water, you can see I put the Dancers of Yima, and between those 2 units is where Liam Neeson is. So another picture of deployment. This is our side. The Dancers have Strider, which is why I don't care about putting them in the water. We really wanted to get first turn, and after we had gone 1 for 1 for a while, we then dropped it towards the end, and I think we got like a +2, but they still won the roll-off. So, unfortunately, they got to go first. Yeah, so he's got a lot of stuff that can like now charge the organ gun turn 2. He's got the Great Bats flying up there. He's got Wraith in behind. The Warriors move up a little bit. The Fallen move into the forest. He's advancing his lines there. He's trying to form a bottleneck with those Crushers. The Reapers are going behind the building. Oh, and I almost forgot. They also have a Zinch Lord on a disc, which is that manta ray looking thing behind everything. And he's got like a 1-up, 4-up. Oh, nasty. And then this is towards the end of movement. They put Wraiths up on the hill. Short interruption, just to let you know that if you participated in the raffle system at Buckeyes, for the doubles tournament only, you got essentially 3 rerolls that you could use, 1 per round per player. So each game, each team can essentially get 2 rerolls, which was nice. And these are what these tickets stood for. So just to show you that. Alright, so nothing really happens in their turn 1 besides moving. They don't have any shooting. Magic wasn't really anything of note. He doesn't have anything to like really grow back. So we go into our turn. I decide let's send the hunting chariot into the Fallen. I'm gonna have to take DTs, but I think I can kill them otherwise. Mark has no reservations about throwing those spears into the Great Bats and overrunning into the skeletons. Because we have a plan for the Crushers to try and chaff them up. Now, he charged the Vengeance Seeker into the Crushers, which I'll show you in the next picture a little bit better. And then moved up the Deep Watch kind of into support. I moved the Dark Acolytes behind the building, so the Reapers can't charge them, but my champion peeking out can see them to try to do spells. So the thoughts from our standpoint is the chariot try to take out the Fallen, the spears are going to overrun to the Skellies, we're going to somehow chaff up the Crushers, and then hopefully with my little shooting with my repeaters and the hand bows I can kill the Great Bats. So 1, they can't charge the organ gun, but 2, so the organ gun can shoot at the Wraiths, and the organ gun has magic shots. Because of course it does. And hopefully kill the Wraiths off. So that's what we were thinking. So this is a better picture of what happened now. I think I would have rather just march up the Vengeance Seeker. It's hard to, you know, in hindsight, say what you should or shouldn't have done. Because those Crushers are nasty. You know, those Crushers could definitely kill him. I think Mark is just so used to this guy never dying in even the most horrendous situations that he had no compulsion about sending him in there. But then he tells me, you need to put Liam Neeson in front of these guys. And I'm kind of like, why? And he goes, no, because then, you know, even if they get through this guy, then they're going to have to charge him, and the way he's facing, they're going to have to run to the building. And I was just like, okay, where do you want me to put him? And so he put him there. Which is a little disappointing, because it's like, almost a 400-point character, and you're just using him as chaff. He could do so much more, and he's just going to end up getting pasted. Oh well. We'll see what happens. For the greater good, right? So we go into Magic, and, you know, we're splitting up our dice and everything, and I'm not sure what he was doing, but I was just like, okay, I'm going to do this spell against the Reapers, I'm going to throw 4 dice at it, and of course I miscast. And he's like, no! I wouldn't have had you do that. Don't do, you know, because I need spells. I need dice to do my spells on my dwarves, on my spearmen, because we lost another dice from the miscast, and yeah, what are you going to do? He didn't hear me when I said I was going to roll the dice, so we had a miscommunication as a team there, and I just got unlucky and I rolled a miscast on 4 dice. But the spell goes off, and at least I didn't lose any guys from it, and I killed a whole Reaper, so that's a start, right? That was it for Magic, though. We go into shooting, and yeah, my elves fail me. I need like 7s, though, to hit these bats, because it's long range, it's multi-fire, they skirmish. So, or 6s, basically. And I was able to do 3 wounds, which only kills 1, which means he's still blocking the organ gun from firing, which is unfortunate. But it ended up not mattering, because for once, Mark rolled really badly with the organ gun, and I don't think did any wounds to anything. So, it was a moot point. So, shooting was rather disappointing. Yeah. So, the Crushers literally crushed the Vengeance Seeker, or Junior as Mark likes to call him. So that didn't work out as we would have liked. Over here, the Chariot does okay. I kill 3 of them. I pass all my DTs. He doesn't do any wounds to me, which is great. But they are light troops, and I didn't realize this, but light troops, just like skirmishers, are stubborn in the forest. So they stick around. It's not the end of the world, but I would rather have broken them and then have the hunting chariot be there to come in a flank of something and put a little more pressure on them. So we're stuck there. So the dwarves beat the Great Bats, obviously, and overrun to the Skellies. Now, the issue was, because Liam Neeson was so far over, we just didn't position this right. After the Crushers killed the Vengeance Seeker, he just did a combat pivot in such a way that the center was kept the same, but he basically turned forward, and now he's not chaffed up at all. So those guys are going to just slam into the spear's flank, and that unit's done for. So that was an error we probably could have avoided. But again, keep in mind, we are rushing to get this game going because of how long it's taking. Anyway, that's how it looks. Their turn to slam. Yeah, those spear dwarves are done for. Then his Zinch Lord on the disc charges Liam Neeson. He throws his ninja stars. He gets a wound through, but he passes a ward save. Disappointing. He shuffles around with the Reapers a little bit. The Warriors move up. And he makes both charges with the one remaining Great Bat and the Wraiths into the organ gun. That's probably not going to end well. So that's another picture of that. Alright, so nothing really happens in magic. I think he might heal with the Winged Reapers a little bit. So going into combat, Liam Neeson dies. But in his death, I was able to do 2 wounds to this character, so he's got 1 wound left. And that's a lot of points. If he had failed the ward save from the Ninja Star, I actually would have killed him. But what are you going to do? Alright, and then in the other combat in the middle, some skeletons are killed. It looks like the dwarves actually did a wound or 2 to the Crushers, but yeah, they got their faces pummeled in, and the Crushers chased down the Spear Dwarves. The only good news is that because they're frenzied, they had to pursue, and now the Deep Watch have a nice easy charge on them. And then at the bottom, this is going to the next turn, but at the bottom, unbelievably, so you can only fight with 6 infantry models into the War Machine. He does like 4 wounds, I think, but there's 5 wounds on the organ gun, and because it's a Dwarven War Machine, he's stubborn and he passes. So I was joking around saying the organ gun was more useful in combat than shooting, because now we have countercharge. And then the Force, that fight rages on. I kill another guy. He doesn't do any wounds to me, and we stick there. So now this is our turn 2. On the bottom, my general with the Corsairs are going to charge into those Wraiths. My general has a magic weapon. He should punk a few guys, and then hopefully with static res, just break the unit. Then we make another huge mistake. This is huge, and I'm going to show you a better picture. So the Deep Watch go in the rear. That's awesome. And Mark gets a spell off on them. I forget what spell, but they're all good. It doesn't matter. The issue that we made was, we were doing the charges, and Mark is like, well, charge the auxiliaries in the flank. And I was just like, oh, okay, and I just like did it. I think in hindsight, I know if it was a normally paced game, I would have said no. Because, it's obvious. Yeah, I got a charge and a flank. But even with one guy attacking back, he's going to kill at least 2 or 3 of my guys. There's really no point in making that charge. And because he has one guy in the second rank, technically, that guy slides over, so now he has 2 guys in close combat. That was a big mistake. Should never have charged the repeaters into the flank. Alright. Nothing happens in shooting. In close combat, my general does well and kills, I want to say 3 Wraiths. He ends up killing the organ gun, unfortunately, but we pop the Wraiths. The bat is still there, unfortunately, because it's not technically part of the combat. Because it's just wonky how war machines work in combat and that sort of thing. So they combat pivot to face towards the center, because I have a feeling they're going to need to assist soon. This is still a pillow fight. He does a wound to me. I don't break. And then this combat, yeah. So with 2 Crushers, he kills 10 repeater auxiliaries. He kills the entire unit that was in the flank. 10 combat res swing in his favor. Unbelievable. And of course, my guys don't do anything. The Deep Watch do okay, but not as well as I hoped. They kill... He had 5 originally, so they killed 2 guys, which is actually pretty good. And there's a wound or 2 on another guy. But I think the Crushers actually won combat. Either that or they barely lost it all, and they stick and they turn around. And as you can see, even in the rear, quite a few Deep Watch were dispatched. And now this is going to be a grind, and it's going to be really, really bad. Alright, so getting into their turn, guess what? Skelly's in the flank now. There's no hope, because the Deep Watch needed to break them and then run them down and kill them. And then we were in a really good spot to possibly clean up some more points and maybe win the objective. But now, with the skeletons in the flank, they're not going to be winning combat ever. Mark's just going to have to rely on his Leadership 10 bodyguard check to keep him there. And the noose is just closing in around those guys. Everything is moving to surround them. The bat flies over the Corsairs to chaff them, because why not? The Zinch Lord charges my acolytes. They run like pansies. And that's about it. We get into the combat, grind it out a little bit more. Another Crusher goes down, but the dwarves stick, because they have bodyguard. But more and more Deep Watch are dying. In our turn, we charge the chaff at the bottom. My Dark Acolytes rally, and they're light troops, or they're fast cav, so they come back, and we're gonna get into magic. I'm really trying to kill off this Zinch Lord, so I get Breath of Corruption. It's toxic breath weapon. I breathe it on him, doesn't kill him. Can't do 1 wound to him. Mark gets a couple spells off on the dwarves, which really help. And so they keep grinding. He kills another Crusher, and the dwarves stick around for another turn. The final turn of the game, now the noose is completely closed. Reapers with halberds in the rear, and Zinch Lord in the flank. The warriors would have gotten into if there was any more room possible. Those poor Deep Watch. My goodness. And yeah, everybody dies. So basically, this is the end of the game. The only other thing to note is that my hunting chariot did kill the last fallen, so we got those points. And then in the last turn, I was trying to do everything to kill his Zinch Lord, and I shoot my Strength 7 bolt thrower from the chariot. It hits, it wounds, he doesn't pass his armor save, and he fails the ward save. And I'm thinking, yes, that's a huge point swing. But then he goes, oh, we have the tournament reroll. Hands it in. Kiki rolls the dice and saves the bastard. So close. That would have been sweet just to get that guy in the end. Oh, but yeah, this was a bad, bad loss. The dwarves were tabled. I had actually a decent amount of points left, which was the only saving grace because they got the objective. It ended up being a 17-3 to them. And with our heads hanging a little bit low, we go into our second game. But we can recover. No problem. We got 2 games left. So this next game, we're playing a couple of guys. I remember the one guy's name is Oz, because I just thought that was so cool. The great and powerful Oz. I want to say the other guy's name is John or something, but I'm terrible with names. Anyway, their team name was Carpe Diem. Carpe Diem, and they were awesome. Great group of guys. They had a cooler of beer with them. A lot of fun. And they were a force of good. They brought Highborn Elves and Kingdom of Aquitaine. So this is what the board looked like. I want to say this was Capture the Standards. And basically, for their deployment on the left, the general for the Highborn Elves is a Pyromage on a giant eagle. There's a Trebuchet behind him in the woods. Then he's got a Fire Phoenix all the way in the back. A unit of citizen archers in the woods. Then there's a bus of knights of the realm, with the Kingdom of Aquitaine's general in there, a duke. Then some Highborn Elf fast cav in front. In the center is a unit of Lion Guard, which are really nasty. And then there's Peasant Crusaders, so these guys are sword and board, but they have frenzy and hatred, and they have I think they had a reliquary in there. And then a lone bolt thrower, top right. And then there's a unit of Knights Aspirant. And then out of the picture all the way to the right is another unit of Highborn Elf Fast Cav. Our deployment got the Hunting Chariot protecting the flank again. My general with the Corsairs kind of towards the center, with then the Deep Watch and the spears behind the hill, with the Vengeance Seeker leading the way. Repeaters facing towards more of their chaff. And then the Organ Gun in the woods with the Dark Acolytes. and then all the way on the left flank, I scouted Liam Neeson. He's got some work to do. He's gonna go after that Highborn Elf General and that Fire Phoenix. Turn 1. And it looks like we got the first turn. Yep. Yeah, we must have gotten first turn. So I march aggressively the Acolytes out of the woods. The Dwarves advance. The Vengeance Seeker goes up over the hill. You can see the fast cav had vanguarded up a certain way. And then the Dread Elves just march behind the Dwarves, staying behind the hill so that he can't charge them with those Knights. The Hunting Chariot moves up to get into position, and Liam Neeson runs around to get out of the way of the Giant Eagle to start shooting. I don't think anything happens in Magic. Let me just see. That's where Liam Neeson is. Nope, I'm a liar. I'm a dirty, dirty liar. We did have Magic. Mark took over the Magic phase because I was basically out of range. And he just put a couple spells on the Vengeance Seeker in case he gets charged that he can live. And then we could countercharge with his other blocks. Then we go into shooting. I think my repeater shoot and pick off one of the Knights Aspirant. We go into more shooting. Liam Neeson throws a Ninja Star and pokes the eye of the Great Eagle and does a wound, which was awesome. And then, going back to where the Knights Aspirant were, the Organ Gun opens up, and it decided this game and wanted to shoot. Just eviscerates the unit. And then, back on the other side, my Hunting Chariot takes aim, and by God, it does its exact purpose, and it kills the Highborn Elf General turn 1. Just hunts down that eagle. And as a bonus, the Citizen Archers flee because they are terrified, and they should be. And they panic that way. Turn 1 for Carpe Diem. The Fire Phoenix moves over Liam Neeson. Liam Neeson laughs as his Midnight Cloak protects him from the fire raining down upon him. Then the Knights start to march up aggressively. The Archers rally. The rest of the army moves up. They then go to chaff up the Deep Watch with the, I think they're the Elaine Reavers. That's what their name is, the Elaine Reavers in front of the Deep Watch. You'll see in a sec, though, that this ended up being more of an issue for them than they would have liked. These guys are just hanging back because they know they're going to get shot to death. And then we go into shooting. The Trebuchet goes off and kills 4 Deep Watch, which hurts. And that was about it. So back to our turn. Armor Piercing turn 2. Liam Neeson goes to hunt down the Trebuchet, so it charges that. The Hunting Chariot decides it's not done yet. It's going to hunt something else, so it charges the flank of the Fire Phoenix. Feeling pretty good about that. And then the Dwarves continue their advance. So Vengeance Seeker, or as Mark calls him, Junior, marches up in front of those peasants, and those peasants are frenzied. So now, not only are they going to have to charge him to get him out of the way, but they're going to be going in the wrong direction. So that was perfect. Well done by Mark there. And then the Spears and the Deep Watch are just getting into position, because the way that the fast cav are now is the Knights can't charge, and his blocks can't charge him either, because the fast cav can't get out of the way. So we were actually okay with this. I moved my elves back. Let's see. How did my elves get back that far? Oh, I know what happened. His Knights actually charged. They didn't just advance. They charged my elves. I fled on purpose, and then they rallied. Okay. And then I moved the Dark Acolytes around, because they need to start going after those Knights. And the Repeaters just sit there, and they're going to take pot shots. I guess nothing happened to Magic, because we're into shooting. The acolytes take the repeaters take pot shots and kill 2 of those guys, but they pass their panic. Organ gun is not able to do anything. I think because it's out of range. Getting into combat, Liam Neeson easily cleans up the trebuchet, which is nice. The chariot only does 1 wound to the Fire Phoenix, which was really underwhelming. I thought he was going to do more than that. He does a wound back to me. I still win by 2, and he passes his leadership. So, oh well, it was worth a try. All right, Carpe Diem, turn 2. So now they're trying to get cute with the chaffing, rearranging stuff around. The other guys come to chaff up the spears as the Crusaders have to go in to the Vengeance Seeker, repositioning with the line guard, and now the Knights are coming around to threaten the flank, which is scary. And that's about it there. And then in shooting, takes out one of the acolytes. Going into combat, I do another couple wounds, but the Fire Phoenix actually kills the chariot, which is unfortunate. The Vengeance Seeker goes down. The peasants were pissed. And they only lose, I think, like a couple peasants in return. But they have to overrun into the field. And then this is our turn now. Armor piercing, turn 3. You can kind of see the dwarves are now closing the trap. So spears charge the chaff. Deep Watch charge the chaff on the hill. And if you don't see it already, I'm telling you, a domino effect has been set in place, because those Deep Watch are going to kill those chaff, probably to the man, and then overrun it into the next group of chaff that are fighting the spears, and then kill them, and then overrun down the hill into the flank of those peasants, which is pretty amazing. In addition, the spears, because they charged the chaff, have the ability to overrun and do a crisscross, essentially, where the spears can overrun past and let the Deep Watch go behind them if they roll high enough. So I'll let you know what happens in the upcoming combat. The Dark Acolytes march out of the bubble of the Knights. They are going to try to do some magic. My elves just shuffle around. And then Liam Neeson is sneaking up on the Fire Phoenix. So in magic, I'm using occultism, so I'm sacrificing Corsairs to get boosts on different things. So I get the Breath of Corruption off, and then for Mark, he gets a spell off on his Deep Watch. He gets another spell off on his Deep Watch. They don't have a wizard anymore, so that's why we're getting so many spells off. And then I sacrifice 2 more Corsairs to do a boosted version of Grave Calls. So it's 2d6 strength 6 hits. I miscast, I lose 2 guys, it's not a big deal. And I do the 2d6 strength 6 hits on the Knights. And then in succession in the shooting phase, I use the Toxic Breath Weapon. And there were 12 Knights there. Now look at them. 6. I killed half the unit with those 2 spells. Whew, it was glorious. Alright. And then, in other news, in shooting, Liam Neeson throws another Ninja Star. The Fire Phoenix has 1 wound left. I'm not sure. Oh, the repeaters were the only thing in range of the bolt thrower, so they took pot shots and did a wound to it. In combat, the Deep Watch destroy the guys on the hill, overrun into the next group. He overruns with the Deep Watch first to make sure they get into the peasants. They do. And then the spears get a nice big overrun. So they crisscross, and now the spears are chaffing up the line guard, so they can't even go in and help the peasants. Which, by the way, the peasants are stubborn literally until you kill them all, essentially. So that was pretty amazing. Well done by my teammate. Carpe Diem turn 3. The Fire Phoenix charges my Acolytes. I flee like a pansy. The Knights charge my Elves again. I flee like a pansy. And then he charges the Line Guard into the Spears, because why not? It's definitely better to charge than be charged. I'm not sure what the Archers are doing back there. I think they're just kind of shuffling around. And that's about it. And nothing happens in really magic or shooting for them. We go into combat, and the Spears run over the Line Guard. Whew. It was bad. An overrun almost into the Archers. The Archers are not facing the right way, and it's our turn next. That's going to be bad. And yeah, so I'll just go back and pick. So the Deep Watch grinded out with the Peasants. Peasants lose a bunch of guys, but they're stubborn. They hold and they reform, I think. Or maybe that's next turn. No, it must have been next turn. Okay. So now it's our turn. Team Armor Piercing turn 4. And Liam Neeson charges the rear of the Fire Phoenix. Going to take him out. The Spears are taking on the Citizen Archers. And then my Acolytes rally. And they move up in front of the Knights of the Realm to chaff them up, because I don't want them charging my Corsairs. And I'm going to do more magic anyway. I know I have the guy with the Headsman Axe, and he can do really well. The problem is the Knights can obliterate the Corsairs, and I'll lose on static combat res. That's what I'm worried about. And then I move the Repeaters up a little bit, I think. Or they might have just stayed there. It doesn't really matter. Get a couple spells off on the Deep Watch, because they really need it. And then we go into combat. Liam Neeson kills the bird. There are not a lot of peasants now, but they keep passing their stubborn check, and this time they reform to face the front. The Spears obliterate the Citizen Archers and then pivot back towards center. Alright, so this is now Carpe Diem's turn. They charge in here. I challenge with the champion, and he accepts with his champion, I believe. And so he doesn't kill them, which was surprising. He kills the regular guy. This guy lives. I break, and I get away. Over there, this grind continues. Those peasants are brave as all hell. And now it's Team Armor Piercing turn 5. My champ rallies, and Liam Neeson now gets a rear charge on the Knights, which was awesome. My Elves had rallied, and now they're making an advance move towards the center. It might have actually been hold the center, not capture standards. Yeah, I think it was hold the center this game. That's why I needed them there. So that's that. A couple more spells on the Deep Watch, because why not? This time my Repeaters take out the Bolt Thrower, which was nice. In close combat, the Deep Watch finally killed the Peasants. In the combat at the bottom, I challenge with the Assassin. He hands me the Champion, which is a smart move. I kill the Champion, but he holds and then turns around. In this turn, in the final turn, my Champion charges the rear of that Knight unit, and then my Assassin is in a challenge with his King, and we fight this till the very end. Liam Neeson kills the Duke in the challenge, which was amazing. And what's even more amazing is I get Breath of Corruption off on the Champion from the Dark Acolytes, and he uses the Toxic Breath Weapon in combat and kills the rest of the unit. That was a fun game. Wow. So obviously this was a 20-0 win for Team Armor Piercing. Our opponents got tabled and we got the objective. But it was a really fun game. Our opponents were awesome guys. Kind of similar to our last game. They just had a couple miscues that really cost them big, especially in the center. So we understand how they feel. We just felt it the game before. And now we have a little momentum. Maybe we can end this on a good note. So we're going into turn 3 with high hopes. And we are playing Cobra Kai. I just always think of the purple gym cobras from Dodgeball as the Cobra Kai guys. And these guys were really funny too. They were constantly getting on each other throughout the game, just like saying, "You suck at rolling dice," and like just yelling at each other. It was quite fun. Really good opponents all around in this tournament. So they are also doing the dynamic duo of vampires and warriors. And in this game it is Breakthrough. On the left in their deployment they have hounds. They're the undead wolves. Then there's a unit of knights, of chaos knights. I think they're wrath. And then there's another lovely unit of crushers. I think there's like 5 of them with a character. Goodness gracious. No, wait. I think I'm lying. There might only be 3. Yeah, I think there's just 3 crushers? We'll see when we get a closer look. And there's a unit of zombies in the back with a couple necros in it. And then there's vampire knights. Good gracious. 5 of them with the vampire general in with them. Then a unit of wraiths in the woods and another unit of undead wolves in the forest as well. This is our deployment. Hunting chariot gets the hill, protecting the flank as usual. Repeaters, then the corsairs with my general, spears in the woods, vengeance seeker and organ gun in the forest, and deep watch on the other side. And then all the way on the other end are my dark acolytes because they have the movement. When they march 20, it doesn't really matter where they deploy. And then I scatter Liam Neeson as far forward as possible. He is ready to take on the world. He is he's been on a murdering spree after that last game. So I want to say we got first turn. Yeah, it looks like it. Everything advances. Liam Neeson goes to hide behind the hill. The acolytes shimmy around the flank. In Magic, we get a couple buffs on the Deep Watch. It's not really going to matter for this turn, though. And then, I think with all the shooting we had, we were able to kill 1 knight. Nothing too crazy. Alright, Cobra Kai, turn 1. They take the hill. They are not worried in the least bit. So knights are on the hill, shimmies around with some stuff on the one flank. The undead wolves are gonna go chaff up the acolytes, and I can understand them doing that because if my acolytes get around, I can really threaten that zombie bunker and try to kill those necros. In Magic, they do the Raise Dead spell, and they raise up a unit of zombies behind Liam Neeson. I'm not sure what the intended purpose of that was. Yeah, I'm not sure why they put them there. I thought that was a mistake. Because I was originally worried when they got the spell off, but now, yeah, just that placement puzzled me. I should have asked them, but that's where they went. So now it's our turn, and we figured, well, let's charge, right? So Hunting Chariot's going to take out those undead wolves and clear some chaff, and also get out of the way of the knights, hopefully. The spears are going to charge into the zombies that were raised in front of them, and then overrun to the crushers, because spears are meant to kill knights, right? So why not? And then I turned to Mark and I was like, I'm seeing my assassin facing right towards those vampire knights, and I'm thinking, do you want me to just go in and like assassinate his general? And he's like, yeah, because I figured I can charge him, and I'm expecting him to to go in solo, and I'll just charge him in so that I'm in base to base with his general. And at that point, he's either going to take the risk or he's going to challenge with his champ. I kill the champ, and I keep the unit there, so then the Deep Watch can eventually charge into them. But Mark tried to go for the long charge anyway. I think he needed like a 10, and he rolled boxcars. And our opponents were just like, oh no. So Liam Neeson does not go in alone. The Deep Watch make a charge against the Vampire Knights with him. So now this is what the center looks like. And I'm not going to lie to you. At this moment, I'm thinking this game is over. I know what Deep Watch can do. And the fact that they were able to get the charge off against those knights with my assassin character, and I'm just seeing those spear dwarves overrunning into the crushers, and his chaff is going to be dead, or their chaff, I should say, is going to be dead. I'm just like, well, I think we got this game. In Magic, we split our dice, so the only thing I do is just get Breath of Corruption off. I just want to make sure that the undead wolves are dead in case I whiff. And then with shooting, I believe the organ gun is able to peel off one of the crushers. There was only 3 crushers. Yeah. So there's only 2 left now, which is even better. Undead wolves die over here. This was unfortunate. So I challenge with the assassin. He offers up the champ. Now, granted, it is a vampire knight. So it has 2 wounds, a toughness 4 with a 1-up armor save. But, let me remind you, 4 attacks with +1 to hit, a weapon skill 7, with hatred, with poison. He's strength 4 armor piercing base, and he's getting rerolls to wound with lethal strike, and doing D3 wounds per wound. I do nothing. I do 0 wounds. Oh my god. And I am just so thankful that I do not die in this combat. His champ swings back and he's able to do 2 wounds to me. But wow. Very disappointed in you, Liam. Very disappointed. From 0 to 0. As for the rest of the combat, the Deep Watch, whiff! There were 6 knights originally. Look, there are still 6 knights. I think with all those attacks, with strength 5, armor piercing on the charge, he does 1 wound. And the Vampire Knights maybe kill a guy or 2. And they must have done more than that, because they don't even crumble. Yeah, they must have killed a few, Deep Watch. Because they still have 2 attacks each at strength 5. Just incredible. Still can't believe it. Spear Dwarves kill the zombies and overrun to the Crushers. There's only 2 of them, so that should not be an issue. And then it is Cobra Kai, turn 2. Or turn 3 at this point. So now, the Knights, they know they're in trouble, so the Knights need to go help with the Crushers, so they turn to face the Spear Dwarves in the flank. The Reapers, or the Wraiths, I should say, are now going to enter the forest because they now block my Acolytes, and they probably know the Acolytes really can't take them. So smart on them, protecting the zombie bunker at least. Magic, nothing really happened. We go back into combat. Liam Neeson still can't kill the champion. I don't do anything to this champion. The champion does nothing to me. It is a giant pillow fight. I still can't believe this is going on. As for the rest of the combat, one knight finally goes down, but some more Deep Watch are missing, so this combat is still not going the way I expected it would, nor did Mark. With the Crusher combat, one Crusher gets killed, and then the one Crusher, because it's like hitting on 2s and wounding on 3s, and the shield wall just wasn't getting through because he needed 6 at at that point. He kills a bunch of dwarves, and the guy sticks. The guy does not break. I cannot believe this. I have no idea how this is happening. He probably did like 4 or 5 wounds. And then we only did 3 charge, 3 ranks, banner, and war standard. We're still up by like 3 or 4, and he passes. Nothing we can do there. So on our turn, my elves start to move up. I'm now just taking... The repeaters really don't have anything to do, so I'm just marching them to get a scoring unit into their deployment zone for the breakthrough objective. And then I march up the Corsairs, because my general can deal with those knights very well. And then I make a mistake here. I decided to charge the hunting chariot into the rear of the knights. I was probably better off just shooting at them. Because basically, the spear dwarves should win combat this time, and then they could just turn to face so that the knights are in their front, and that's not a big deal. I had to go through the ruins, so I take a wound for my trouble. And I'm only strength 5. Those guys have a 1-up armor save. So I had to get lucky, and then he's attacking back with a bunch of attacks. Yeah. Huh. Oh well, my bad. But he goes into the rear anyway. Hopefully he lives. I fail my march test with the acolytes, which is really annoying, but I have enough movement to get out of the arc of the reapers, or the wraiths. And that's that. The Vengeance Seeker is still hanging out by the organ gun. I forgot to mention this. They have a unit of barbarians with a Jarl in them, and so they ambush. So the Vengeance Seeker is just sitting back to guard the organ gun. In Magic, I get Breath of Corruption off. I need to kill some of these wraiths, so to get them out of my way. The Deep Watch get a spell off on them. I kill, I want to say like 3 or 4 of these guys with the Toxic Breath weapon, which is awesome. Hunting Chariot gets pwned. I don't think I do anything to the knights. And we go back into the combat, and yes, I do 1 wound finally to the champ, but he has 2 wounds because he's a vampire knight. And a frickin' champion kills Liam Neeson. Moving on. And look at this combat. Oh my gosh, the Vampire Knights are still there. Almost all the Deep Watch are dead. I think there's 1 left, so he passes his check. I mean, they're just grinding them down. It is crazy. And the Spear Dwarves whiff too. They can't kill the Last Crusher. The BSB is in there too, I believe. So I mean, like, even with his attacks, oh, it's just awful. I cannot believe that this is happening. So, guess what? Cobra Kai's turn. Chaos Knights into the flank of the Spear Dwarves. Oh, it's like a bad dream. And these guys finally decide to show up, and they come onto the board. And the Vampire Knights finally kill off the Deep Watch. His general actually took a wound. But yeah, they are gone. Spear Dwarves are getting killed. Just slain everywhere. They are able to poke a knight, though, which means they are steadfast, so they hold for this turn, but they're not long for this world. I am yelling at my repeaters to run as fast as they can, because we desperately need scoring units in their deployment zone. The Vengeance Seeker charges into the Barbarians to try to take them out. Let's see, I charge. So this is what's going to save the Spear Dwarves. I charge the Corsairs with my general into the flank of those knights. Okay. I move the Dark Acolytes around, because his stupid wraiths went through them and killed a couple before. So I'm going to try to kill them now with magic. And I do. Yay. And then with, or actually, that might have been the organ gun. Either way, they're dead. It's fine. A very blurry picture. So this is the combat. So I was like, should I pop my 1-up armor save? And Mark is like, no, don't pop it. And I was just like, okay. So we get into the combat. Corsairs don't do anything, which I expect. They're only strength 3. My general goes. He needs 3s to hit. He hits with 2. Then I need 2s to wound, re-rolling 1s. I get 2 wounds, and he makes both armor saves. So my strength 7 general does nothing. So the one guy that can fight him attacks and nearly kills him. Because I didn't do the 1-up armor save. He does 2 wounds to him. God! Are you kidding me? So, needless to say, the Spear Dwarves break. One last Crusher chases them down. And now the Knights reform against the Corsairs. I think one died because a Spear Dwarf killed him, and that was it. The Vengeance Seeker dies to the Barbarians. He takes down a couple in his death. Barbarians charge the Organ Gun, say goodbye to the Organ Gun. The Skull Crusher keeps going to get a second scoring unit in our deployment zone. The Vampire Knights are coming around to help out with this combat in the center, which is just great. The zombies are trying to move up to get some distance from the Acolytes and present a rear so the Necros are safe. So, I pop the 1-up armor save. I rolled a hit with my general. I get 1 hit, hitting on 3s. I wound. He passes his armor save. He fights back, and he kills the general. I have a 1-up armor save, so he's only strength 5, so it's down to a 3-up with a reroll. And I fail a 3-up rerollable, and he dies. Oh my god, what is going on? He kills a couple Corsairs. The Corsairs, of all things, actually kill a Knight. He just rolled a 1 on one of their wounds. And they stick there because they are steadfast. Okay. In my turn, I give up on the bunker unit. There's no way I can get those points. What I can do is try and kill the Vampire Knights best I can. I do get my magic. I do kill off a couple of them, but it's not enough to make a difference. I'm steadfast again this combat, but I break the Knights chase. I get away this time, but then it's their turn 6. The Knights chase again, catch them. I have 1 scoring unit in their deployment zone. They have 3, and they 20-0 us. Was so bad. Oh my goodness. Talk about an unexpected turn of events. I'm still shaking my head about this game. I don't know what else we possibly could have done. We charged Deep Watch and Achille Assassin into those Vampire Knights. We charged Spears, a block of 25 Spears, into a unit of 2 Crushers at that point. And we lost those combats. I don't know. I don't know. But I tell you what, Cobra Kai had us right where they wanted us, apparently. And good on them. They were a great group of guys. This was a fun game. But yeah, we ended the tournament with 23 points. We weren't going to win anything. Needless to say, Team Armor Piercing took a whooping. We had potential. Keep in mind, no practice games. The first game we only finished 4 turns, and we were rushing through it. We did make some big mistakes there. Our second game went really well. And that last game, things were looking really good. Sometimes the dice gods giveth, and sometimes they taketh away. You know, it's just the way it goes. So what did we learn today? This is the first time I've ever been in a doubles event. They're really fun. I really enjoyed it. It's definitely a different style of game. It's cool to play with a buddy, but it is different because you're not making all the decisions. Sometimes you're making decisions on your own for certain units, but then a lot of it's collaborative, and you kind of just go with the flow. It's very fast paced. It's only a 4,000 point game, but it was still the normal time limit, and it was a struggle to get games finished. It really is a lot more cumbersome when you're dealing with 4 people instead of 2. And I think for the next time, we weren't really well prepared for this, which is fine. I mean, it was all fun anyway, but I think having a better alignment would have been better because we were good and evil. We weren't getting re-rolls for leaderships. We couldn't share magic. We couldn't do magic on each other. Characters couldn't join each other's units. The only advantage we had is that if one of our units died, it wouldn't panic our other units because we hate each other. So I think next time, if nothing else, we should probably either do evil evil or good and good, just so at least we can get some of those other buffs going on, those other synergies. That's it though. I'll end with this. It's just kind of funny. Elves and dwarves fighting together, especially evil elves with the good dwarves. And Mark, buddy, I had a great time. Would gladly fight alongside you and die alongside you again. Otherwise, that's going to end it for this one. Please leave comments below. Appreciate any feedback, whether it be tactics about the battle reports themselves. Like, subscribe. Do all the usual YouTube stuff. I hope you enjoyed this, and I look forward to sending out more content your way. Have a good one.